As we go through games throughout the years, certain ones seem to stick out, and certain ones don't, or seem to fall short. Now, whether you remember a game through their characters, the actions that you do, the setting, the story, maybe the goofiness, or maybe even how bad the game is, you'll always will remember that game because something sticks out about it. Before we list off the top 10 games of 2017, we're going to list off a few of the games that were played throughout this year that had the potential to be great games this year and possibly for next year through patches and updates, but kind of fell short, whether it's bad decisions, graphics, gameplay wise, what have you. They may not be Game of the Year for 2017, but please keep a lookout for these games for 2018 moving forward. Without further ado, my name is Marco Flores, and Nerd in the Bay presents Honorable Mentions Mobile Games for 2017. Now, first up, we have Villagers and Heroes MMO. As you can see, it's an old style MMO in a sense where you think about like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 11, and that style where you're going to be auto attacking, you're going to be grinding, you're going to be doing your cooldown abilities and such while trying to learn about this world. You're becoming an adventurer in this world, just doing quests, like solving people's problems, but at the same time, you're also living the life of an adventurer, where you're having a side job and you're having multiple like expertise in maybe two, maybe three things, maybe one thing, as a crafter, maybe a blacksmith, that sort of thing, and you're balancing out the two aspects of this game, where you're an adventurer and also you have like a side job. With this game, it's pretty much standard MMO fare where you're gonna talk to a person to pick up a quest, go to said destination, kill the enemy or fetch the item that they need, return to the person, and complete your quest. So this game feels pretty old, but at the same time, it's pretty cool that you're living in a real world. So which is why I decided to put it on the honorable mentions rather than on the Game of the Year list. Now, I do have to preface that this game came out this year, so the fact that they're keeping to like old style MMOs where you're auto attacking, you're hitting cooldown abilities and that such, where other games that I played that have that MMO feel, it's more actiony. You're hitting the attack button multiple times. You're doing different positioning to be in the best position to be able to take out your opponents and then hitting your cooldown abilities like that. But for this, I think it's pretty cool still that you're playing in a living world, but at the same time, takes a step back that it's still doing those old style MMO ideals. Now, Shades of Violet 2 is a pretty interesting game because it's an FMV game. You're not seeing graphics, you're not seeing pixel art of that sort. You're seeing real life captured footage, but being played as an FMV game where you choose directions, you choose actions to perform actions, and then you see kind of how a movie plays out. So it's pretty interesting in that aspect. So this is a part two, what I would have to assume is a multi-part series, episodic content-wise, because I didn't find part one, and by the end of this game, which I was surprisingly that I beat, it is assumed that there's a part three. So once again, this game is very unique in a sense that it's a FMV game, which is entirely possible. FMV games have been done in the past, especially with like the Sega CD, 3DO, maybe Jaguar consoles. So you can definitely do something like that on a phone or mobile, right? So right now at the game's current state, it's pretty clunky. The directions and actions that you do don't respond as tight and as fast as they should be. You're going to see screen tearing and scenes fast forwarding to the scene that you're currently playing at the moment, which for me takes away from the game and the storytelling experience. This game is definitely a diamond in the rough. It needs to be cleaned up, the controls tightened, less screen tears and fast forward scene transitions to kind of spoil what you're going to be doing in that current scene. Even with those criticisms, it's still one of the more unique games that are out there in the mobile market. So I would say definitely do check out this game. See what you experience for yourself. Hopefully it's a much better experience that I've dealt with, and we would just wish the best of luck for those Shades of Violet developers. Now with Puzzle Fighter, you're tugging at my nostalgia strings here, because I remember back in the day playing this game with friends and talking just smack against each other. But yeah, this game is on this list because it's a mobile version of it. It does do some things right with the I wouldn't say franchise. I would say game or game direction. You have characters in a super deformed chibi fashion from series like Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Final Fight, Dead Rising, Resident Evil, and other games from Capcom series, going up against each other in a puzzle fighting fashion. Think about your Tetris or your columns, but it kind of doesn't compare to the previous game from back in the, I would say, PS1 days, where it was super fast. You're gathering blocks, and your opponents are getting blocks as well, trying to take those out as fast as possible. So there's a meta to this game. You either taking out the blocks as fast as possible so you don't have anything on your side of the screen, or you're gathering all the blocks as much as possible to be able to get that big counterattack so you can take out your opponent in swift fashion. So for me, as much as I was happy that there's a mobile version of Puzzle Fighter, it's still not the same as the PS1 version where you just jump in, go up against opponents, gather your blocks as fast as possible, and take out your opponents. Here, it's more on the casual side, which kind of makes me be disappointed. But at the same time, it's still cool that there's a Puzzle Fighter out there. So be sure to actually do check it out. These last two games we covered on Intro to Mobile Games have very, very high promise, which is why I put them on the list here. First up is Battle of Arrow. This game comes out the woodwork with some pretty good functions and features that you don't see in a lot of role-playing games, especially or in PvP type games. You have character customization, whether you want to be a dual-wielding crossbow user or a bow and arrow guy. You can also fit your horse with proper equipment. You can also focus on your abilities, whether you want to be an attacker, be a survivalist, or a marksman. Focus on your attack, focus on survival, focus on your accuracy. While customizing your character is one thing, getting into a match with a human opponent is another. Because the aim of these battles is to take your opponent out, the tension within the match becomes heavy. Because of tilt controls, you're constantly aiming at your opponent for the best possible damaging shot. All the while, your opponent is trying to take you out by doing the best type of damage, maybe trying to stagger you with your horse or trying to get you in a headshot. So you're considering a lot of things as the match is in play, trying to get the best headshot, watching out for staggering shots from your opponent, like so, and ending the match in a quick fashion so you can get the best type of rewards. So if you're a person like me that loves versus multiplayer, this would be a game for you. I would definitely recommend. Overall, the game looks great. The art style looks really nice. Gameplay is fun. The tension in terms of going up against people, or maybe even the computer, is there as you're trying to aim and you're trying to hold your breath as you're trying to maintain posture. If there's anything to nitpick about this game, it would have to be maybe that I didn't see much of a story mode in this game. But then again, where I'm at is not that far, so I still probably need to progress in the game a little bit more to maybe get some more of the story. Even though it's just a mobile game, but still, you still want to know what's going on in this world, right? But I did also see some sort of raid boss hunting section of the game, so you got a little bit of like a monster hunter thing going. Maybe you have a clan going, and you're just trying to take out this mega boss. But that's it for Battle of Arrow. Guys, be sure to check out this game moving forward to 2018. And let's move on to the final entry of our honorable mentions. And finally, we have our final game for our honorable mentions,
WWE Mayhem, a game that just came out of pre-register, so there's still time to develop this game some more. Made by Reliance Entertainment, the same people that made Real Steel World Robot Boxing. You have the same thing pretty much going on, but like in a WWE skin. You have your light attacks, which is your tap to your screen, your strong attacks, where you're going to be swiping from left to right or right to left, and you also have your charge attacks, where you hold down the screen and then let go for after a brief certain time. So you have that thing going on, which could be a plus for Real Steel fans, but could also be a detriment because there's no evolution in terms of the gameplay. It's kind of the same controls, you're just putting on a different skin, so there's no evolution there. Whatever side of the boat you fall on when it comes to Reliance games, know that their games are quality. But as a wrestling fan, it's a great game to get into because of the fact that you can collect your wrestlers, get the ones that you really like, level them up, or maybe sticking with your favorite wrestlers, or having a well-rounded roster in order to be able to take out all these opponents that you have who have different classes, and classes have certain advantages over the others. So there's a lot of factors that you need to consider when you're getting into this game in terms of classes and battle ratings and rarity of their characters or their cards.
One of the awesome things about this game is that there's fast load times, meaning you can jump in matches pretty quickly compared to other games where like Puzzle Fighter takes a good long while to get into a match. The art style is really cool as well. You get a little bit of a super deformed thing going, reminds you of WWE All-Stars. And this game is pretty much pick up and play. You don't have to really know anything from the previous WWE games. Like I said, it plays like Real Steel World Robot Boxing. So if that's familiar to you, you should have no problem getting into this game. So that about does it for Honorable Mentions 2017. Guys, these games have tons of potential. They all have great qualities within themselves. They just need a little bit more tweaking, a little bit more oomph in my eyes, and they could be on anybody's list for 2018 as an honorable mention or even a game of the year. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with the list? Do you guys disagree? Do you guys think another game should be on there? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys for watching. Nerd in the Bay presents Honorable Mentions Mobile Games for 2017.